One of the biggest things that people struggle with is fear. Now, fear comes in all shapes and sizes, all different types, all different situations and scenarios. But ultimately, fear comes down to how we communicate an experience to ourselves. In other words, how do we even know that we're afraid of something? Well, it's because we describe it to ourselves. We use word pictures. We imagine the worst case scenario coming true, or things like this. Or we word stack. In other words, we use a lot of shitty words to explain why we're afraid of something. And the biggest problem with fears is most of them never come true, but we experience them and go through them every time we think about them. You probably have heard sayings like this before, but things like fear stands for false evidence appearing real, false expectations appearing real, false emotions appearing real, or forget everything and run. Well, they're just acronyms to describe something. They're not the real emotion. And most of the time, the emotion is really made up, because when you think about what you're afraid of, if it actually arrives, when you think about this perception of being afraid, and then eventually the things that you were afraid of happen, they're never as bad as what they appear to be when you first thought about them. Take going to the dentist, for example. Let's say you have a tooth problem. You have to have a tooth extracted or something like this. Well, you think about going to the dentist and you worry about it and you think about it, and all those bubbles and butterflies in your stomach and these emotions start to turn over. And before you know where you are, you've got yourself into a right state. So as the day of the appointment approaches, you get more and more worked up. But looking on the other side of it, when you come back from the dentist, yeah, it wasn't great. And who likes going to the dentist, right? But once it's over, you think, shit, why was I so worried? What was I so worried about? It really wasn't as bad as the worries and the fears made out. So think about that and use that, and think about what fear really means. It means you have an expectation of something coming up. And the best way to control that is stay present as much as you can. Take charge of your physiology, your body language, your breathing. If you find yourself shallow breathing or you get heart palpitations, then start to breathe more deeply, rhythmically and slowly, taking a huge deep breath. Then breathing out powerfully and forcefully. And tell yourself that you can handle it. You're bigger, better, stronger and more capable than anything that could ever happen to you. So don't let your fears control you. Control those fears and take charge of your mind and your life.